Hi, it's Rabbi Mathias. Just wanted to share a quick idea about this week's Torah portion because it's so connected to the land of Israel. And this week's Torah portion is the Jews are left Egypt, they're in the desert, and they decide as they're about to come into the land of Israel that they're going to send 12 spies to go spy out the land to see how they can conquer it. Now, really, that's what they were supposed to do, to go see how they can conquer the land, but instead they come back, most of them, 10 out of the 12, and say, we can't conquer the land at all. The people there are too powerful. It's too difficult to conquer the land. There's no way we can do it. And one of the things they say is that the land is eating up its inhabitants. It's consuming its inhabitants. Why did they say that? Because when they went into the spy out the land, all of a sudden they started seeing all of these funerals. People had passed away, people had died, and the people living there were organizing these big funerals. And they said, wow, look, people are dying all over. This land is very scary. The rabbis say that really they missed the message. They missed the point. Why? Because really God, behind the scenes, had planned these funerals, had kept the people that were living there busy with the funerals, in so order that they wouldn't notice the spies who came to spy out the land. And the rabbis say that these spies, they missed the point. They thought this was a terrible thing. Really, it was a good thing God had done in order to help them. The question is, how are they supposed to know this? How are they supposed to know that God had planned these funerals? How did God know that he was helping them? So the rabbis say that when the Jews were leaving Egypt, the slaves were leaving Egypt, all of the owners of the slaves, the Egyptians, right? What were they busy with? Why were they not paying attention to their slaves leaving? Because they were busy burying their firstborn. The last plague of the killing of the firstborn happened that night. All the Egyptians were involved with these funerals, burying their firstborn. And so they didn't even notice, they didn't even have the time or the energy to think about or care about that the slaves, the Jewish slaves, were leaving. And so we actually see a precedent that just as when the Jews went in the land of Israel, the people there were busy with burying their dead, so too that's what happened in Egypt. But when they went out of Egypt, everyone knew this was God. This was God protecting the Jewish people. He had killed the firstborn. So that's why the spies should have understood that this was a message from God, that just as this had just happened to them in Egypt, that God had helped them when they were leaving Egypt because the Egyptians were burying their dead, so too now that they went to spy in the land of Israel, and they saw these same funerals, they should have understood God was behind it. And I think there's a profound lesson here from us. Sometimes the odds seem insurmountable. Maybe for Israel, maybe for the Jewish people, maybe for ourselves personally. But if we look and we see the track record, we see how God has stood behind the Jewish people, how God has stood behind Israel. He has helped us generation after generation. We've been in so many difficult positions, and we've not only survived, but we've thrived. That even today, where the Jewish people in Israel face very big challenges, we know that God has a track record, that he's behind the Jewish people, and we're not only going to survive, but we're going to continue to make the world a better place. Shabbat Shalom.